ends this series, Kara Swisher Wants to Live Forever, airing Saturdays at 9. Kara Swisher, he's a professor at Harvard's Kennedy School of Government, former National Security Advisor under Joe Biden, Jake Sullivan, and he was Obama's White House Chief of Staff, Mayor of Chicago, Ambassador to Japan, Rahm Emanuel. Wow, what a resume we have here. Okay, so you probably just watched, you're on Overtime here, the show where I ended with that thing about AI. All of you said to me right after it ended, I'm right. So we all know that it's going to kill us, but we just keep going toward the cliff like the lemmings? Is that where, about it?
You said something very powerful in your statement there. You said the very people building this technology are warning us about what it's going to happen. They're saying, we're doing this. We're on the cutting edge of this, and it's really dangerous. Do something. And all of us are just kind of like, oh, well, I guess we'll see what happens.
Here's the thing. They did this a long time ago. I was at dinner parties where they're like, we don't know how it works, constantly. This was a decade ago. And one of the things I started warning about the social media was the same thing. This is dangerous. And what they're more interested in the journey and the money, because all of those people, Elon Musk, took billions and millions of dollars to develop it more. It's not like they're stopping. Elon Musk did not say, it's so dangerous, I'm terrified of it, now I want to stop. He's suing to get control of OpenAI or paid by it or funded. So every one of those people who yells safety is also taking money from venture capitalists to grow bigger.
So what can we do?
The warning sign here, which is, well, the federal government's going to have to finally do something.
Correct.
They can't kind of go the three-monkey routine, see no evil, hear no evil, speak evil. When Dario at Anthropic says, I'm not putting this product out, I'm not living in a world where one CEO's moral compass is what saves us.
Right.
That is not how this is going to work. And the federal government is going to have to finally do something. You're going to get industry, academics, public policy people, all around the table. And what we do in federal government is we set a regulation, we wait 30 years to say it'll work. This is going to have to be real time, constantly updating things. But the federal government cannot do, which is this Wild West, because these guys, as you put their pictures up there, that looks a little bit like an FBI photo shot, cannot be in control. They have to have adult supervision.
But can we go back to Dario is not releasing this because he's got a moral conscience? He is. He's just releasing it to 40 big companies.
Correct.
You think it's not going to get out? You think you can release something to 40 major companies and it's not going to get out to everybody at a certain point? I give it about a month.
It is a low bar. That's what it is. He's the best, and it's a low bar.
Right.
And what's really interesting is that we're not going to regulate. They have so much money. You know how much money they have.
Yeah. Right.
Elon Musk's about to become a trillionaire, and it's absolutely going to happen. And the reason, with that much money and that much influence, they can't even pass a basic privacy bill. I've been screaming about it for 20 years. They get mowed down by lobbyists and PACs and everything else. And now there's a new AI PAC that they're funding. All of these same people are funding the AI PAC. They're funding
only be outdone by the crypto PAC.
Crypto PAC, which got rid of. I mean, they can buy anything, and that's.
But you know Elon pretty well.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not anymore, but. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, it's been a little
But he
more.
knows you.
A little
Yes,
more.
Elon won. I know Elon won.
Those quotes I read from him, they're from a few years ago at least.
It was.
It seems like he was the guy, because I do remember when he first said that statement, and it was the first time I'd ever really heard anybody say anything like that.
Well, he said it to me at an interview that we did. Right.
But it was a while ago, over 10 years ago, and I was like, oh, this has not been on my radar? Okay, Elon says it, maybe it is a thing. But lately, I don't hear that from him.
Of course you don't, because he wants to be part of the rush of winning. And one of the things, when he said that, and he said it at a conference, because that's when he started OpenAI with Sam Altman and with others, because they were scared of the power of the Googles and the Facebooks and the Apples, and it was to protect people and create guardrails. And instead, it's so much money, they have to go for it, I think. And now it's a dick measuring.
So, Kara, is there any answer to this then? I mean, because I think you've sketched out this money motive is massive, but we've got to be able to do something.
You know, I think because people are sick of this shit. Like the suicides, I've interviewed all those parents whose kids have died. And these people are still trying to skate out of culpability, like as if it's not accountability, legal lawsuits, and someday a perp walk. I'm sorry, it has to happen.
The one thing is, first, I actually think it's one place that actually Xi and Trump, when they meet in about a month, actually can agree on something, because both of them are scared of this.
Right.
Not fully not. The second thing.
You think Trump is scared of it?
No, I don't think Trump is, but he's desperate for a deal, anything with Xi, so he looks good. Desperate, and I think this could be the one place. Second, I would just say you had two trials slightly off sides, I mean off to the side, which is on the social media and kids. They all went to jury, and the jury took like 10 seconds, boom, slapped them down. That tells you how angry and anxious people are. It's a separate issue than AI. But these media moguls / technology moguls do not understand the loathing people have for the way they are acting.
AI is almost as unpopular as the Democratic Party.
Right now, the quote.
It's like in the polls, it's right there.
Guess who his new boss is going to be? Like, they're buying everything, whether it's Apple, it's not just Larry Ellison, they're all buying the media properties.
See, I don't think it's on Trump's radar. I can't think of anybody in that administration, and this is why I fight back so very people say you shouldn't have had dinner with Trump. I should have dinner with him again, because I'd bring this up in 2 seconds, and he would listen. I can't. Who is bringing it up in that administration?
Now, the person whose radar it is on now is Scott Besson, who called in all these guys. Why? Because he's worried that this mythos gets out, you get cyber attacks, you get a complete collapse of the financial system, with it the whole economy.
But more than that, no, he did have people. He brought in David
We know that
Sachs.
for a fact, that Scott Bessent is aware, and
that he's actually summoned
and
these
the Federal
folks in.
Reserve. They both called him in and called him on and said, okay, wait a second here, time
This has
out.
been a wake-up call for them.
But who did they put in place? David Sachs was the AI czar. He's a longtime Silicon Valley investor, tight with Peter Thiel and Elon and the rest of them. They brought in Emil Michael of the Pentagon, who did that ridiculous thing around Anthropic, like calling them, never called an American
Peter
company.
Thiel, who was asked, like, should humans keep living? And it was like not a immediate answer.
No.
It was like, I'm thinking, you know.
That's not an SAT question. That is not an SAT question.
Because they think we're going to be we are the, you know, this is the singularity. I remember when Ray Kurzweil was talking.
He's still doing it.
What?
Singular. He's still around.
He predicted this a long time ago.
Oh, he wants it. That's what
Right. There was a difference between predicting it and wanting it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be half robot. I mean, look, if the parts that are not my brain, yes.
As your doctor, you're not half robot, okay? It's not happening to you,
Right.
okay? It's not everybody else, but for you, you're not going to be a half a robot.
You're not a doctor, that's your brother. All right, let's move on. These are from the people. You have proposed, this is for you, 10%, you have proposed a 10% tax on prediction markets. A 10% tax on them. Okay, what kind of impact would this make? Well, give me the bones on this.
The bones on it is 10% on online gambling.
Prediction market, meaning?
You know, poly market.
Poly market.
Yeah, and
Calcium.
As Kara said when you guys were doing the interview, we're cutting National Institute of Health, National Science Foundation, the DARPA by 40%. Xi in China is doubling up every year on their research. We're losing the race. We're sitting on fumes. And we have to increase our research and development dollars. We have $400 billion and growing spent on gambling. I want to bet on America, not bet against America, and that's what we're doing right now, and plow all the money into doubling up on research so we don't lose this race on fusion, nuclear energy, quantum computing, all life sciences to the Chinese, which we are now losing.
So you think the poly market thing are that influential?
I think the polymarket, absolutely. And I also think there's inside trading going on.
Yeah.
And I do think
there
online,
is,
online sport gambling, when you put them all together, it's $400 billion and growing. I'm for $40 to $50 billion of additional money going into finding a cure for cancer, finding a new energy source around fusion. We're not doing it, and the Chinese are competing, winning, and we're sitting here on the sidelines.
Except they just created a PAC for that, the gambling.
Yes, I can't tell you this since. So my view, 10% and the 10% across the board to create the revenue goes in the lockbox. The second thing, everybody in the federal government, everybody, you are banned from participating in the online markets. And I'm going to say this. You have kids from Peoria and Pontiac fighting a war, and you got a bunch of Nepo babies down in Palm Beach betting on it. That's not how we do this in America.
And making
that is
a
wrong.
lot of money.
Yes.
Too, right? They pick the moment. When are we going to hit the supreme leader? There's a bet on that hours before it happens.
And the other, I mean,
because they know.
They
That's
know.
the insider trading.
We have seen more trades on oils on the oil market within minutes before the trade. That is, you don't need AI to know insider trading. It's against the law, and the cops not showing up. So my view, 10% tax.
Trump,
and if you get a federal
Trump
check.
Jr. is in those two companies.
No, I did say Nepo baby Palm Beach.
Okay, got it.
And
Subtle's my new quality.
Yeah,
You're the
subtle.
only person at this table who has suggested that. Us other people running for governor. Has the media overstated the rise of authoritarians in Europe and around the world? What do you think of Viktor Orban's defeat last week? I did have that exact thought. Like, again, the media kind of played me. I mean, for years, all I've been reading about is he's the second coming of Stalin. There will never be democracy again in Hungary. And then, oh, actually, well, people got tired of a guy just like they do in every democracy. They didn't like him, and they wanted somebody with different policies, and they voted him out, and he went and conceded the next day. So I do feel a little used.
Well, I'll say one thing about this. This guy,
A little hurt.
this
He was an
guy
ally of him.
did everything he could to tilt the playing field in his favor. And yet,
Yes.
when you add up all the harms that he did to Hungary and this new movement that came in that you would like because it set aside all the old constituencies, all the old special
Budapest
interests.
politics.
It said we're going to bring everyone together. We're not going to wilt, as you were saying before, this young guy, Peter Maher. And they had to run through new media because they couldn't use the old media. In fact, this guy went on television now, having won the election, went on state TV, which would not let opposition figures appear, and said the first thing I do as prime minister is shut you down. So he was rigging the game, no doubt about it.
I agree, but
then he got
a bad guy. But
here's the
it-
lesson for Democrats. I mean this and the rest of Europe. He made Orban's corruption relevant to your inability to pay. So in my case,
Right.
President of the United States gets a plane from Qatar,
Right.
you get $6 a gallon. Great trade, as my mother would say, such a deal. Who would not think it? I mean, here's it. He's going to get his arch, and you can't afford the golden arches. And Democrats go right at...
Well done.
Okay, thank you. But my thing is, it wasn't, all the elites say, oh, it's corruption. Oh, corruption never sells, you idiot. It's making the corruption relevant in how you're getting screwed. And that's the lesson from Orban.
You're the only person at this table making that
That
case,
point.
and I think it is a great point. It is.
You're not going to let go of that, are you?
Not for the rest of your life. Cannabis use is on the rise among women, in the United States. And for the first time recently, perfect for 420 coming up on Monday, for the first time recently outpaced men. Why does the panel think that is?
No idea.
Can we go back to AI?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because men are bad?
Who's the expert
And we need
here?
to get high? On pot?
Yeah.
And women.
So,
What do you think of J.D. Vance saying the Pope should be more careful when talking about theology? These guys.
Let me take that one.
No, I'm
Just
willing to
one
go
second.
first, but I
As
have
the Catholic, right?
Yeah,
Ron, as the
yeah,
resident
yeah,
Catholic,
yeah.
you'll take
I
it.
mean, as I've said, he has the
Chicago
charm
Pope.
of a Cybertruck as a politician. I have one thing. I mean, look, the Pope is also an American citizen and should be able to say whatever he feels like under the First Amendment.
Yeah, of course.
And he just looks like a putz. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah,
Can I say one? Look,
well, he's such a
the-
recent
the
convert.
Pope is an Augustinian-trained Pope. Augustine is the one that developed the concept of just war. You're going to lecture the Pope on the concept of just war? I think, as one Jewish kid, that takes a lot of chutzpah. I mean, that takes a lot of chutzpah. And I got a lot of chutzpah, but that is a lot of chutzpah.
Augustine,
Lecturing.
that wasn't like Augustine's main thing. His main thing was that you're born with original sin. You're evil to begin with, and that's why you need the Catholic Church.
That's why you need him to tell you what
so
a just war
Augustine
is.
was not a good guy either.
He's going to out-Catholic you
No,
right
no, no,
now.
I'm not going for the I'm not for Jews for Jesus, but I am for Jews for Pope Leo. I'm setting that up as my new non-for-profit.
Say, J.D. Vance did not have a great week.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, lecturing the Pope,
No.
okay, about theology, which I don't know what Latin for chutzpah is, but that is crazy.
Right.
It translates.
Going and showing up with Orban saying vote for this guy and then getting absolutely
Right.
repudiated, then 21 hours in Pakistan and he comes home and it's
Right.
like, I got nothing. That's like in,
Don't leave out the hall he couldn't fill.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's in 1 week. That's
Don't
not-
assume that Trump's not also setting him up.
And meanwhile, Marco Rubio's with Trump at the UFC
Yeah.
fight in
Don't
Miami.
assume that there's not some evilness by Dr. Evil.
You mean, plotting to discredit J.D. Vance? Why does he have to do that? It's his
He
pick
does that all
anyway.
the time.
But all he has to do is say, my pick
No,
my successor is, and his people will follow.
When
He
was
doesn't
the
have to
last
do a
time-
It is
plot.
not as delicious unless you're pulling out someone's toenails. That's how it goes with this guy.
When was the last time he's ever showed any loyalty?
No.
Yeah. And what he wants to show is that the Republican Party is nothing without me. He is going to walk out and he's going to show them there's a one-way street on loyalty.
I know that personality trait of him because I've seen it in other people. He wants, needs ass kissers around him, but then he does not respect them. If you do it, he doesn't respect you. He actually likes me because I didn't do it.
Yeah, I can
You
tell
and
by
Vladimir
those
Putin.
tweets.
I think it's like
Exactly.
Wait, he likes to punch down and kiss up. That's what this president does.
Rahm, what is one thing Japan does well that America should consider adopting?
Oh, good.
It's the most beautiful thing I've seen. 5-year-olds walk to school all alone.
Yes.
And there's no fear. They go across the streets, they walk 8 blocks, and I told all the Japanese business leaders, you can have Mount Fuji. A 5-year-old this big, a backpack this big, with their little uniform, they come to a street, they put their hands up, all the cars stop. No, it's sublime. It makes me cry when I think about how gorgeous that is.
Okay, yes, and it is. But you're
As the one person that's done it.
Right, but you think you can transfer that to America?
No.
Where we're not good people
That's not what
like
they said.
that.
What can we learn? I'll tell you this. They have a sense of respect and sense of community. We wear masks to protect ourselves. They wore masks to make sure you didn't get sick. And respect for others is a quality that if you ask me what we could learn, Japan has it in spades, and it's an unbelievably beautiful quality. And you see it where they nurture these children and give them back. We've stolen our children's childhood. They have given it to them. And that, to me, is one thing we can learn from them.
Oh, good. Say that when you run. All right. Thank you, everybody.